people inside the Sony world and out are all talking about, we need a cube camera, we need a cube camera. And I think a lot of people forget that we already have a cube camera. So this is the Sony FX6, and I don't know, if you ask me, that definitely looks like a cube, and that's with the battery in there, and with this little tilt the top plate. Can easily throw on if you want a little bit of extra mounting points. But you say, well, there's no screen on there, Justin. Well, that's okay. It comes with one. I don't have to spend anything extra. And just like that, now we have a little screen with the touchscreen option. Didn't have to pay anything extra for that. It just comes with it. We all know this, right? This isn't the point of the video. There's no hand grip. Well, we know. We have that too. There we go. Little baby, little baby. All he needs now is a little E-mount lens or a PL mount. And of course too, top handle. Oh, that's right. It comes with that too. But I digress, right? It's not the point of today's video, but I just wanted to remind everyone that the FX6 is also a cube. We shouldn't forget that. Today, I'm going to be showing you the rig build that I've done for this, and you can do it. You don't need this specific type of camera. That's what's fun about the rig builds that I do. It can be applied to any camera. A lot of ideas that I get from my rig builds is something that I've seen on other people's cameras, usually on Arri cameras or something that I'm checking out on other sets. Anyways, we're going to get right into it. I'll show you all the ways that we've been using this particular build on the latest pilot shoot. Let's rock that now. First item is the base plate. You can get these pretty much anywhere. 8sin makes these. What I love about it is this middle piece here can be built on. So I used this same base plate on the Komodo, and it just consisted of an extra riser piece that goes on the top here, because the Komodo isn't as tall as the FX6. So this can be used on multiple different camera bodies. It has the 15mm clamps, as well as it has the dovetail system. So it works perfectly with any standard base plate. And of course, the Arri rosettes are built in for your grips. So you'll notice the dovetail there, and I've already secured the plate for my Sockler tripod onto the bottom of this little baby dovetail. You'll notice that it has the little brake right there, and it just slides up in here. And then the brake is right here on the other side. Just like that. Now we're locked in and ready to go. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the wooden camera battery slide on the back of this thing. The battery slide is something that I've always used with all the cameras that I've used. And why I love it is because you can leave the onboard battery in. So I even used a wooden camera battery slide on the Komodo as well. These are made by Wooden Camera, and they all have the fuse protection built in. I would highly recommend going for gold mount. Don't get V mount. I started with V mounts and I do regret it, but they all have this fuse protection built in. It's one of the other bonuses of the Wooden Camera battery slides. There's another third D-tap. They usually come like that, around 3 D-taps. The downside is the Komodo one had a 2-pin power as well as 3 D-taps in the fuse protector. So we're missing the 2-pin power on the one for the FX6, which is a bummer, but another downside with this one for the FX6 is like, you gotta have tools to install it. Whereas the one that goes on the Komodo, you just snap it in because of the battery plate. Because it's a dual battery, you only lose one, so then you can still have your other battery for hot swaps. But unfortunately, this one, you have to install with screws, and it's just a bummer, man. Now you could get the Tilta one that doesn't require you to use tools and such, but I love the ability to have hot swap. When you combine the hot swap with the fuse protection, for me it's just kind of a no-brainer. So there's that big screw down there, but now I still have to put one more screw right in here. It is a bit of a bummer. And then when you take this thing apart, you don't want to, like I just dropped that screw. 10 minutes later, I finally found it. Unbelievable, dude. Having to install things with little baby screws is never fun. All right, but there we go. Now we're on, and now we can just plug this bad boy right into here. Put your battery on, whether it's gold or V-mount, you'll be good to go. Highly recommend gold, don't go the V-mount route. But that's what's nice, they make the plates in gold and V. Do a little hot swap action, pop that up, get back in there, get your battery out, or whatever. All right, another nice bonus of these rosettes here is if you're doing some sort of one-man band with cine lenses, or you're doing like a documentary thing, Tilta makes these focus grips. I think they recently just put out a whole new line of the focus motors and stuff. I don't know if they have grips, but nice bonus of these. These are also cool when you're like on a documentary. If you're on a documentary of some kind, you can be pulling zoom. Even if you have a first AC, you could be on the zoom. You could be on the zoom right here, and the AC could be pulling the focus while you're controlling the zoom. So it's a pretty rad setup. All right, and then on the other side, I just have a normal leather grip. Pretty basic. These are nice because these are quickly and easily adjustable, as you can see. So that's why I like those. Something more like, you know, straight vertical with this thing. You see it now, you could have just a crazy, like, you know, one of these type of rigs. So it's almost like another dual side grip, or you could go right back. Next is the rails. I recently talked about the 8-sin rails in a live stream. They are stainless steel. I much prefer these over small rig ones. I had the carbon fiber small rig ones. I don't know where they are now, but I have completely gotten rid of them because they will slip when you use the motor. They just slip in general. These bad boys, these are steel. These aren't going anywhere. That's what I love about them. They are a lot heavier than the small rig ones though. So then around the back side here, I'm gonna bring this up. You can really just kind of move it easily out of your way. So for the back end here, I have this very generic small rig shoulder pad kind of rig up setup. It just comes with just a cheese plate on top of it. But then I added this 15mm rod clamp to go onto the rails in the back. And then I added this small rig. It's a Teradek kind of quick release, but it'll work with any wireless transmitter. Right in there, you can see that the rails are down in there and they're just flush right there with that. And what I love about these rails too, that the small rig ones can't do because they're carbon fiber, is there are still threads in here. So if I need to add on any rails and make these longer, I can do that because of the threads. And I do have an extension system for that, because every now and then you do have to make them a tad longer. All right, now we're gonna talk about the transmitter system that I showed you. This quick release right here in the back. Any transmitter will work, obviously. I just have this weird little one. This just lines up back here like this. These work really nice, just like that. And that's a beautiful quick release for any transmitter. This is just a weird one that I use, made by this company called Shimble. It's got some latency to it, but for little jobs, it's fine. But you know, obviously on bigger jobs where they have rental budgets, we'll get like a Teradek or a Vaxis. And then these nubs up here, I did buy these. I don't like the long antennas for on camera, so I keep the little nubs. Absolutely love those. So now my transmitter is just in the back, right up behind the V-mount battery, as you can see there. So we're chugging along quite nicely here. Next, I'm gonna throw on PL mount. Just a basic PL mount here. And this is the one made by Nisi. Now I'll throw on the Athena lens. What I love about the Athenas is you can get a little kit and you can add any filter on the back that you want. Like if you didn't want any front filtration, and back filtration is really nice for fighting glare and reflections internally. Let's get this bad boy on here now. Solid. All right, now we'll throw a matte box on here For just like very basic stuff, I just use the Misfit Atom, but I do have both the big Atom, the big Misfit and the little Misfit. And mainly why I hold on to the big one is because it works with the polarizer. So there's plenty of times when you're on a job and you got to shoot through a window or something and you need a proper polarizer. So that's when I use the big Misfit. For everything else, if I don't need a polarizer, then I'll just use the Misfit Atom. But keep in mind, they do make a Misfit Atom that has a tray for a polarizer inside. But what's nice about this one is you still have an eyebrow, very ultra lightweight. This thing is very easy to adjust, slide back and forth. It's all on a quick release system. When you go on gimbal, you can just completely take this eyebrow off, pop this off there like that. I take this off, and now I just have one filter in there and away I go. Really nice for gimbal. That's kind of what I love about the little Misfit Atom. It's just fully customizable. I have a little tilt bracket in here too. Right down in here where these little ridges are, it's actually a tilt plate that helps with your filters. I got some other little toys for this too that I'll show you in a minute. It's always good to have a top flag, a little eyebrow up here. And this is nice, and then you can just kind of fold it down when you throw it back in the coffin. And it's got a nice carbon fiber sheen to it as well. Very, very, very lightweight. So I do have all kinds of different size donuts. That's just because for using like other lenses, you know, this standard ring is 80 mil, but for anything smaller than 80 mil, you can get this, which is basically, they call this a rubber donut. So this stretches and you can fit all your little tiny lenses in there. But when you use that, then you'll have to use one of these, and this just bolts onto the bottom of the Misfit Atom. So, and you can raise it up and down. It's just a great system. I know there's plenty of proprietary systems out there, but I just love having a system that I can take onto any job where we're renting, or if it's just my lenses or whatever the case is. I don't know if you noticed or not, on the back of my handle here, I do have the small rig AirTag, so that's bolted on. Now, if I needed audio, I would obviously put it up here. I've shown in other videos what I use for audio, but usually I'm not messing with audio. Only if I'm doing like a documentary thing will I have audio on there for B-roll. And it's just the Sennheiser MKH416 mounted right here on the top with a very, very short baby XLR plug. And I use this multi cold shoe mount. Now, what I normally do is I'll pop the LCD off and I'll use a small HD monitor. But if I'm doing something where I'm in control of the exposure, I'm doing the lighting, then I'm gonna make sure and be using this small HD so I can use EL Zone. Now, there's a couple different ways that I can mount the monitor. I do have this crazy bright tangerine Titan arm. I love these things because they're so strong. You can tilt these, break these any which way. You can move these without having to loosen it. I absolutely love that. But you know, you can see it's very large, very heavy. I can't wait for the version 2 of these to come out because I'm guessing it'll be a lot smaller. But something I tend to use is this little tiny baby magic arm. And then I just mount the monitor right onto the side, just a side mount. For the small HD, because this one doesn't have 2-pin power, it's only the Indy 5, but I do have a 12 volt to D-tap, and I love that it's a right angle. I try to use right angle cables on all of my rig builds. It's just a little neater, that, and I highly recommend these little sprig things. So these are little 1/4-20 rubber cable holders, but you can get these in 3/8 as well. I have them in both sizes, excellent. And you can just mount these all over and just keep your cables nice and clean. You can see I have one right there, and then I have one around on the other side. I have them everywhere. It's up in here. Well, this is the fun part. This is where I let my AC figure out how he wants to run the cables and everything. But it's not difficult. He just has to run it back to the battery slide. I would highly recommend not plugging anything directly into your battery. Then I would highly recommend something like this. A regulated multi-tap. You'll notice this one on the top provides more power, just gives you a little bit more power out of that orange one. Nice thick cable. It has mounting ports on the back. I'll leave partner links for all of these items below. And if you're interested in any of these, it's a great way to support the channel. So it's a win-win. Now, if you didn't want to buy the 12-volt barrel to detap, you could also get one of these dummy battery detaps. But you'll notice this one is a little different. So you'll notice it has a little LED light here, and the voltage of the battery will actually display on the back of the dummy battery. Let me show you. So you'll notice right away, now the voltage is reading on the actual dummy battery. And what's this one saying right now? 8.28. And then if I whip it around the back side and I tilt this down for you real quick, you'll notice that we are lit up here as well. So multiple ways to power your monitors or even your transmitter. Now we haven't plugged this one in yet, but what I love about this one is also powered via DTAP. The way I have it rigged up, I don't have any room to use something like a dummy battery to DTAP, but this one is nice because I can power this one via USB-C. And for that, I use one of these bad boys right here. As much as I despise Condor Blue, these were the only one I could really find that had regulated voltage. So it is USB-C to DTAP. The only downside is that this one is not a right angle. This would have been so much better if it was a right angle. Way too much sticking out. So you're gonna have to really make sure that you take advantage of all of these quarter 20s with the little sprigs I showed you, and make sure that you or your AC rigs this up nice to prevent this from breaking off. Highly recommend right angle USB-C to DTAP if you are gonna be powering any of your stuff via USB-C. The last little ingredient here is my secret weapon. And it's perfect that it looks like a chess piece, because this is how you win the game. You can get these in both sizes as well. This is for the Easy Rig Quick Release Clamp. And when you buy the Easy Rig Quick Release Clamp, it comes with lots of these in both 1/4 and 3/8. I've never had any issues using the Easy Rig with the stock Sony FX6 handle. And I only have the Mini Max, so just keep that in mind. There's lots of points here. I look like I usually drop it in this center one here. Now it's just the fastest, easiest way to drop that Easy Rig down on there. Snap it in. Pop this puppy off, and away you go. What I love about this particular setup with the shoulder mount, with the shoulder rest right under, this is perfectly weight displaced, and then you have the Easy Rig on top to help you out. I can hold this up on my shoulder the way I'm supposed to, and then the Easy Rig will take all of the little micro jitters out of it for you. Quite nice. It's a very simple build. You can do this with any camera. Here's another last little tip for organization, much like the sprigs. These little guys, the Night Eyes, little rubber cable tie things. They got wires inside of there, but the rubber is so nice. They got these little fatty ends. You can get these in all different lengths. I use these for everything regarding cables. So I always recommend the right angle SDI and HDMI cables. One bonus I will say, just always get 12G SDI cables no matter what. And then the second thing is, if you have a monitor and a wireless transmitter system, always run the SDI to your transmitter and then HDMI to your onboard monitor, because SDI will have much less latency than the HDMI. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your rig build ideas down below, and do all the cool stuff. Help out the channel. Let it be known. We'll see you this Sunday night for the live streams, which I absolutely love. We've been having a blast over there. Kicking off 8 p.m. Sunday evening, Pacific Standard Time. That's LA time, baby. We'll see you in the next one.